Hello, I'm Adriana Locke of Zocalo Wellness, and this is the 5th video in the Self-Care Sanctuary series. In the first 4 videos, we talked about the motivation of self-care. We talked about fostering compassion for ourselves, for how we feel and what we need. We talked about our own sovereignty and propagating that. We talked about whether or not our self-care is freeing. And today we're going to talk about our self-care rooted in self-love, whether or not it is. So let's check in again. Close our eyes if it's safe and feels good, and let our bodies sink, feeling our sits bones on our seat. Feeling our feet on the ground. Letting our bodies sink with every out-breath and rest and let go. Letting go of any tension, any heaviness. And as we do that, also feeling from the top of our head to the sky, that suspension, feeling ourselves lengthening between sky and earth, letting the earth hold us, hold everything that we are, everything that we're carrying, letting go. With the in-breath, feeling longer, with the out-breath, relaxing. And in that space, checking in with our body, from the top of our head to our toes. Just noticing with compassion what is. And in that space, bringing your hands to your heart and feeling into your heart. And asking yourselves, how do you love yourself? How do I love myself? And just noticing what comes up. A feeling, a visual, a list of things that you do to love yourself. Maybe it's even a little bit of grief, realizing that you don't have a practice of loving yourself. Whatever it is, just noticing, feeling into your heart, and seeing if with the warmth of your hands you can actually feel a little bit of love for your heart, a little bit of care. And with your in-breath, kind of drawing that in to your heart. And with your out-breath, letting go of any judgment. Breathing in that warmth and that care. Letting go of any judgment. With a few more breaths, continuing. And letting that warmth actually permeate the rest of your body. Not forcing it, just allowing. And with one more breath, really breathing in that warmth and care. With your out-breath, letting your hands settle back down and opening your eyes. So, excuse me. Self-care that's not rooted in love isn't care. all the things that we've talked about in the last 4 videos are all designed to propagate self-love. And I mean self-love in the sense of radical self-love, like Sonia Renee Taylor talks about in her book, The Body is Not an Apology. It's self-care, it's self-love that goes to the root, that is transformative. And when we practice self-care that is rooted in radical self-love, we also end up loving the world. We end up loving other people because our cup runneth over. And all the things we've talked about in the last 4 videos, motivation, compassion, sovereignty, and liberation, they propagate self-love. So when we investigate our motivation for our self-care, we move it in the direction of self-love, in the direction of our own voice, our own inherent value, then we propagate self-love. When we propagate compassion for how we feel and what we need, we cultivate the space for self-love. When we support our own sovereignty, when we feel our own sovereignty and our healthy boundaries, then we propagate self-love because we don't let other people take our energy. We give freely. We know our limits. We know our place in the world. And when we do practice self-care that is rooted in self-love, it is liberatory. It is freeing. And when we propagate more and more, when we move deeper into self-love, into saying no to the body hierarchy, as Sonia Renee talks about, when we say yes to our own value, our own inherent self-worth, then we also inherently change what we're motivated by with our self-care. We propagate more compassion. We feel our sovereignty. We are liberated. So there is an interdependent relationship between all of these 5 concepts and practices. So I hope that when you are refreshing your self-care, when you're checking in with your self-care, you're making these self-care habits, that you check in with these 5: motivation, compassion, sovereignty, liberation, and self-love. And notice them growing within you. Whatever you do for your self-care, that these are growing, that this is what is behind, this is the foundation of your self-care, whatever it is. So I hope you got so much out of this. If you are interested in more resources, check out the Recharge Sanctuary YouTube channel. And until next time, much love.